Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Shots from the Bench. It's only sports talk, and of course, all opinions are both fabulous and flawed. I'm Bob Wiltman. My counterpart is Bob Murphy, and Greg Malanzuk is behind the scenes taking care of the cameras, the wires, the lights, everything he can take care of back there, and doing a bang-up job. We're in front of the camera. He stays behind it. That's the way we all like it. We're here at Gators Dockside in the beautiful Brownwood section of the Villages. Gators Dockside, they got the tastiest sports in town. We're here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7, so come down and join us live. And if you can't come down and join us live, then why not get on why don't you get on the internet and catch us at shotsfromthebench.com. And again, we are the only sports talk show in the Villages. And that being said, I guess everybody's making a big deal about Colin Kaepernick. What do you think? Do you want to talk about him? What do you think, Bob?
Well, yeah, they're talking about it all right.
Well, I'm curious just to hear what you have to say, because I probably won't be as polite as you.
Maybe you're probably right. You know, everybody has a right to do what they want to do.
It's America.
But you know what? I can understand the firestorm. I really can. You know, if you want to make a political statement, go ahead and make it. But I'll tell you what, don't make it against our flag. Don't make people. That flag stands for more than what you think it stands for. It stands for all the men and women who died on our country. It stands for our freedom as Americans. It stands for our whole. It stands for everything that we have as Americans, not just your particular thing. You have a right to do what you want, but I'll tell you what. If I were a team, you better be playing like Tom Brady in order for me to keep you on my team. You better be playing unbelievable. Which he hasn't been.
No, by the way. In fact, I think he's going
to be released.
Very, very good chance
today,
of being released.
Very potentially.
Good chance. Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of. People didn't want Tim Tebow on their team because of the attention that he drew to the team.
Yeah,
right.
By being a Christian.
Yeah, no, he's a Christian. I mean, Colin Kaepernick has a right to his opinion.
That the media didn't rally around him too much, but all of a sudden you got people making so many excuses for this guy.
Now, I don't want to get into whether I agree with Colin Kaepernick or I disagree with him on his political agenda, because I don't want to go down the political agenda. I don't think what sports talk shows should be talking about political agendas.
I agree
but I can tell you one thing: I think he made the wrong move for his own career, and for that team, and for the NFL. And anybody can say, well, he did the right thing. Well, you can think what you want. You have a right to your opinion. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's not on any team this year.
Well,
not just because of that, but because of his play.
Well, yeah. A couple things I want to talk about. First of all, I'll be very curious to see who follows suit with him on this. And there's going to be one or two guys that never stood or sat down before, but now all of a sudden they're going to. But they're going to say, "Well, I'm rallying behind Colin Kaepernick," and that's all well and good. I've been particularly incensed by the media's inability to say what it is. I mean, because for the same same reason he's allowed to do what he's want. I mean, you're allowed to. People can call a spade too and say what they want to say, and I'm just sorry to see that everybody running and hiding and not wanting to offend him. I think it's silly. And the second part of the thing for me is it's talk about a tempest in a teapot. This is a guy that's probably not going to make this squad. And why do we even care? I mean, I understand why anybody would care if somebody, an athlete during the national anthem, disrespected.
Well, that the flag is cherished and honored in our country. We stand. Remember, look at the opposite of what happened. How about that pole vaulter that ran down the thing and he was about ready to go? You know what?
He dropped it and
heard
the
why?
Music. Yeah.
Because it means more than just one thing that Colin Kaepernick thought it meant. It doesn't mean a failure. It means a pride and joy. It's a pride of our country. So many people died for that flag. And to do that, he punched so many people in this country in the mouth. by
Well,
not standing.
I'll be very surprised if
I
if
have no use for the guy.
but don't
personally.
expect
No
but
use.
don't expect the media to give him a hard time. In fact, he's going to have people trying to rally around him.
He has a right to do what he wants to do.
Yes, he does.
But you know what? We have a right to shun him and say, I don't care if I ever see you play again. I don't have to. It's not about what he, I don't want to get into the politics of it or what he was doing. I'm not saying that some of the things that he's standing against isn't happening, but to stand against the flag was a poor choice.
Well,
a huge poor choice.
I think you're going to. I'm probably not making a revelation prediction, but I have a feeling all of a sudden you're going to hear some people writing some things for him to say now. I think he's been out on his own and he's tried to carry things on his own, and somebody's going to grab him and say, "Whoa, man, are you making a big mistake?
Right.
You better backpedal on this." It's maybe he is that big a. I'll say it was as big a jerk, and
it makes me.
I'm allowed to say that, just like he's allowed to say
It makes me sick.
Yeah,
It makes me sick to hear some of these other sports commentators on ESPN and different things saying, "Oh, well, we can see his side of it."
Well, they all
Really?
say they all say
Really?
he's entitled to
Sorry,
say what he wants.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't think that
Don't see
he
it.
has a right to say it, but
He has a right. Yes, he
yeah,
has a right.
that's-
But the repercussions of what you say mean a lot.
But
you know,
that's
I mean,
our that's our
He's going to have to take it now.
that's our Colin Kaepernick take.
Yeah, that's
for
our
the,
take. You know,
man,
speaking of, since we're talking about quarterbacks,
yeah,
I'm a Vikings fan,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Bad news today.
And today,
huh?
it was like getting kicked in the gut today, this afternoon. I went looking for a sports story for the show today, and I Google, and I looked up sports story, something I wanted to share, something I wanted to find, some late breaking story. Oh, did I find one? As a Viking fan, I felt like I got kicked in the gut today, this afternoon. Teddy Bridgewater, if you don't know, was in practice first or second play from scrimmage. Didn't even get hit, just went down like a lump of coal, sack of coal, and apparently tore his ACL or something like that.
Well, that's
Apparently maybe lost for the season.
that's catastrophic.
So Mike Zimmer canceled practice immediately. Everybody off the field. Ambulance come in, take him off. What a blow to that team.
Well, the Vikings
and to Viking fans.
Vikings are one of the top teams in the league, and I don't think they're going to just sit here and stand pat. And I mean, you told me off camera, Sean Hill's their backup. They've got a team in place that has a chance to get into the Super Bowl. They're going to have to start wheeling and dealing and seeing if they can get maybe even a Sanchez or somebody that's been there and has played. I don't know if Sanchez is the answer, but they're going to have to find. They're going to have to find somebody that can come in and lead that offense. Sean Hill is not the guy they want.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's not like he was one of the. Like I was listening to one commentator. You're trying to find some positives out of this. It's not like he was a 4,000 or 5,000 yard thrower last year. He led them to an 11-5 division-winning team.
That's the key.
They're mostly a run-first team, and throw to break that running up to open up.
He didn't turn the ball over. He was exceptional at holding on to the ball.
Right,
that's all you want. If you have a good team, have your quarterback. And that was Sanchez's problem, frankly. Every time Sanchez played, he played on good teams, but he didn't take control of the football.
And he was having a great preseason.
Take care of the football.
In two halves that he played, I think he was something like 24 out of 30 for 360 yards in two halves that he played this preseason.
Well,
with no turnovers.
Well, he's got, like I said, you got Sanchez, Kaepernick, or maybe Tebow. Let's see what.
Yeah, we see Tebow up on the screen up there. Maybe they can get him away from baseball.
But you know what?
I wouldn't think he.
I don't think so. But the point is, there's going to be some good quarterbacks, at least experienced quarterbacks available. They're going to want a chance. Matt Shaw. There's going to be some guys who aren't starting, who aren't bad, and I'm sure Minnesota may have to give a second or third draft pickup, but they're going to have to. I mean, they're the ones they need to make a move. They're the desperate group, so they got to. But their team's in place. Get somebody who can lead your team, and go with it. But
I've heard people
not
throwing
showing
out
up.
names like, do you think Peyton Manning could possibly come back and play for the?
I don't think he'd do it.
I don't think he's got anything in the tank, to be
No.
honest with you.
Brett
But,
Favre has a more
No,
likely
Brett Favre has
opportunity.
he's probably had more
Brett
opportunity.
Favre.
Brett Favre's probably on the phone with him right now.
You know what? I wish I could.
He's filming a commercial right now, and he said, "Hey, wait a minute, I got to go make a phone call."
He's got some Levi's jeans on, but he's probably. I'll tell you what. You got to think that in the back of somebody's mind, they're thinking that. I'm serious. They're thinking that.
Names like Geno Smith have popped up.
Yeah. Well, Geno Smith might be a logical choice. You know, give it a
Mark
try.
Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez.
And, like I said, I don't want to see Colin Kaepernick in the Viking uniform. I don't think they would take him on at this present time.
But that's like I said, that's a really tough and you watch in the next week or two. Yeah. I'm going to predict right now no less than 3 starting quarterbacks are going to be out for the year, and I don't know why they keep putting. Now this was a unique, strange thing that happened to Peterson, but somebody's going to get hit in a ball game like Romo got hit. It's going to happen, and you're going to see 3 of the starters on the bench.
And what do you think about Romo? I mean, like, this has happened, 2-3 years in a row?
He's not getting any younger, and
every time he gets some kind of significant hit, he goes down like a
you get a
sack of potatoes.
You get a tag like
he's hurt.
You get a tag of being fragile. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I just think that he's. I'll tell you what. I don't want to be 35. That was an ugly hit he took, and I was told when he got off the field he's going to be fine. And all of a sudden, no, he's not doing so well. Mm-hmm. So, but it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out because. There's going to be a couple more quarterbacks go down, and then you're going to see the derby for all of the decent backups. All of a sudden, there's going to be guys looking all over the place.
Absolutely. Now, Tom Brady, of course, with his suspension for the first 4 games of the season, okay, he's losing there. But what if he has another injury where he's out 3 or 4 weeks? Now he's lost half the season because of his,
like I said, I think that's
Deflategate, whatever they want to call it.
But the Patriots are the Patriots, and they always seem to endure the catastrophic events. So I'll tell you what, Colin Kaepernick and Tony Romo have taken us through the first quarter of shots from the bench. So we will be back with our second quarter of shots from the bench here at Gators Dockside right after this.
That's right. Yeah, how about those Toronto Blue Jays?
We are back with the second quarter of shots from the bench here at Gators Dockside in the beautiful Brownwood section of the Villages. Gators Dockside, they have the tastiest sports in town, and I'll tell you, we got the football out of the way, but there's something going on called the final month of the baseball season. Mm-hmm. Now everybody's going to bring up all the star minor leaguers to get a cup of coffee, but more importantly, we got a lot of really, really, really interesting dog fights in the wild cards.
That's right, we do, especially in the National League, don't we?
Yes, sirree. I'll tell you what, the Cubs can sit back and relax. They won't, but they can sit back and enjoy the scenery. But all the other teams, you got the Giants and Dodgers just tooth and nail in each other, and the Nationals are in the driver's seat too. But then you got the Mets and the Miami Marlins
and
just
the Pirates
fighting tooth and nail. Pirates are fighting the Cardinals in their division.
Pirates are 1 game out of the wild card.
That's right, and anybody can win this. But all teams are suffering. All teams are suffering significant losses. You talk the Pirates; they just put their quote-unquote ace pitcher Garrett Cole. He's on the disabled list for 15 days. But all the other teams have been suffering with the same situation. Their best players. You're talking about the Mets. The Dodgers only lost Kershaw, and they went past the Giants without Kershaw. I think they'll do pretty well when he comes back. I think he's going to be back in another week or so. So, but that's they're all poised and they're all in place. It's
getting down to which team is going to to be the healthiest to win down the stretch.
Well,
it's going to go down to the last week or two.
You think that's the case
for the wild card, that is.
But to give the Mets credit, I know you're a Mets backer. The Mets went out and got some players to help themselves, and they got Reyes. They went out and they took a chance on some guys that they knew were proven professional talents, and so far it's working out pretty well for them. They're not setting the world on fire, but they're certainly pitching like demons. And
well, they're bringing in. They're also bringing in young guys from the minors, and they're pitching nice ball games.
Great.
All of a sudden, at crucial times.
That's what you need. You need people to step in at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, they need another pitcher.
Tonight they got this kid. What's his name?
Lugo. Lugo's pitching.
But he's pitched well the last 2-3 games.
I think
And
Lugo's
then
fine.
last night, then Montero, the young kid, Rafael Montero, who was one of the group. He was mentioned at one time with that grouping of Harvey, DeGrom, and Syndergaard and Matz, and then there was Montero. He was one of the ones, but he took a step back in the last year or so. But now he seems to be getting into the groove, and he couldn't come back up to the team at a better time when they need some depth at the pitching.
I'll tell you what. I like everybody. Everybody's got the talent to do something. Let's just see. Let the teams figure it out, and the good teams will figure it out.
You're a game or 2 or 3 out.
Yeah, that's why I said now's not the time.
In 3 days, you can be in first place. In the first wild card team.
Or you can play yourself out in 3 days,
Right.
and that's exactly right. So,
like you said, though, the National League, Washington and Chicago are pretty much
they're
a lock.
locks, and the Dodgers and Giants are going to fight it out. But you know what? I think they have to play each other like 6 more times. So all of a sudden, whoever comes in second in that division is not going to be a lock-up for the wild card.
You know what's interesting, too, Bob, is that San Francisco, if they keep falling, they could fall out of that first wild card
That's what I'm saying. They're going to, if they keep losing, they're going to be right there with Miami, Pittsburgh, the Mets, and Cardinals. They'll be fighting out for the last 2 spots.
They may fall beneath all of them by the time it's all said and done.
Well, like I said, that's the exciting part. Here comes the last month of the season. Let's see what they can do.
Sure.
Pretty cool. But more importantly, I think that the Nationals are getting their pitching staff in order, but they're missing Strasburg. Rourke seems to be pitching well, and of course Scherzer. 3 out of 4 games he's lights out, and the other one he's not so hot. But I take that. I'll take 3 out of 4. I mean, if that's how he's going to pitch. But they're having the formidable pitching staffs. I think are the ones that are really going to rise to the top. That's why it's good to see teams like the Mets and the Cubs. I mean, the Mets with Syndergaard and DeGrom. That's a heck of a 1-2 punch or 2-1 punch, depending on how you want to talk it. But
if you had to pick a MVP of the Mets this year so far, just the fact that they're, with all their injuries that they've had, that they're still in the playoff hunt, I think you'd have to say Bartolo Colon would be their MVP of the season.
Colon is
it's amazing at 43 years old.
I personally think he's the story of the National League because he's kept them in it, and plus he's just, he's a walking headline. I mean, the guy, he's not controversial, but he's just fun to watch. I mean, you look at the guy and he looks like Uncle Joe out there, and Cripe's 13-7, I think, with like a 3.40 ERP. I think he's got an unbelievable.
Yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah, so between him and Syndergaard and DeGrom, and if they get one of these young guys, Matz is hurt, so that's another thing. Getting healthy, and you're going to have to get your subs. Pittsburgh's the same way. They're bringing up 3 guys from the minors with no pro experience. Let's hope they pitch well. I hope they pitch well.
The hitters don't know these guys.
They don't know the guys, so anything can happen. That's right.
They don't know.
Or
there is no,
they may not have to know them because
right.
they might just knock them all over the place.
That's right.
But so the
if they have any, I'm sure they got halfway decent stuff, or they wouldn't be coming up to the major leagues.
Well, that's right. You're right about that.
But still, it's interesting. That we only, we're going to find out. We're going to find out here in the next few weeks. So we got a lot going on in sports.
A lot going on.
Baseball, dog days of the summer. We've got, of course, we mentioned all the icky stories that we don't want to talk about. But then we got the U.S. Open, second day of the U.S. Open. We'll be talking about here in the next. I don't know if we have time now to get started on that.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do the American League, and we'll take that.
That's right.
We'll kick
do
on
that first.
That's all right. We'll get under the U.S. Open because that's going to be a big deal. But the American League, I'm still flabbergasted. The Yankees, to me, went into a big seller's mode. They got some prospects. This Sanchez, whatever the catcher's name is, they brought up. This is what you need. You need somebody to come up from the minors, bat 400, and rip home runs all over the place. I mean, the guy is just unbelievable.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
That bodes well for their future, too.
Oh, my gosh.
They've got so many good young players
They
and
just
they've
got to
gotten
get
younger, and
they got to get a couple pitchers.
Yeah.
Sabathia, I think, in his swan song, so they're gonna have to figure it out.
The future's bright for the Yankees now.
Future Hall of Fame.
Future Hall of Fame. Which one? Sanchez.
Yes, that's right.
Very possibly.
Absolutely, more than likely.
He is now. I think there's 7 Sanchez's.
I mean,
that
like
are future Hall of Famers.
Last
right now.
year, going into last year, whatever, with all with all their older players, A-Rod, Teixeira, and others, you would say, oh well, they're just hanging on. They're not. The Yankees need to retool, and they retooled.
Well, they did.
And retooled with good players right away.
They have a very, very, very solid lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Their pitching may be a little weak, but Tanaka, Pineda, they run out. Sabathia, what's the guy's name? Gregorio, or I can't remember the other guy's name, or Severino, that's his name.
Sure.
They've got young guys in place. I don't think they're going to pull it off this year.
Their bullpen is very solid.
Yeah.
If they can get during the off season pick up a starting pitcher or two of quality, they're going to be a force. They're going to be one of the better teams in the league.
I wanted to just now. How do they stand in their division?
Who's that, the Yankees?
Yeah.
Yankees in their division, they're 7.5 out of first.
Who are they behind?
They're behind Baltimore,
Okay, well,
Boston,
that's what I thought.
and Toronto.
Those 3 teams are going to make it awfully difficult. In fact, we predicted this, and I'm afraid Baltimore is not going to survive this.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll prove me wrong. Not that they want to prove me wrong, but
the way things have been trending in that division in the last 2 months, Toronto's moving up. Finally,
Toronto and Boston are the 2 best teams.
Yeah.
And Boston still hits the cover off the ball.
Yeah.
I watch them almost every night. 8 runs and 12, 13 hits every night in and night out. And unfortunately, sometimes that's what their pitchers give up.
That's right.
But Toronto, you got to be impressed. They've seems to with Happ and how they're getting by. Liriano hasn't really pitched well for him. If Liriano gets his game straightened out, they're going to be really, really insurmountable when it comes playoff time, I think.
Yeah, like you're saying, Baltimore seems to be kind of fading a little bit.
They're holding on with their fingertips, but they're.
Right.
I just don't think they've got the. They got some guys who can hit homers, but I think the overall lineups and the batting averages just doesn't add up to what I think is going to be a big enough threat. They're like Toronto with no batting averages.
Sure.
So
right now, as it stands, Boston would be the number 1 wild card.
Wild card, yeah.
I believe. Actually, Baltimore would be the number 2 wild card team as it stands right now.
They're still holding on.
But they're fading.
They're fading a little bit.
Who's rising? Who do you think's rising?
I would think. Well, you got to keep your eye on Houston and Kansas City.
Houston's 8-2 in their last 10 games.
Houston and Kansas City
That's right.
are. I mean, neither one of those teams. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if they both.
When we mentioned
somehow
earlier
before
the start of the season, we mentioned Toronto, we mentioned Houston to be in the playoffs. We
can't
didn't
see
see Texas.
I can't see Kansas City doing it, but no, Texas has been. Yeah. I've dissed on them all year, and they've just waved at me.
In Kansas City, you got to keep your eye on. You're playing on.
If they get the pitching, they're amazing. Yeah. But their pitching is still a little suspect right now. But no, keep your Houston. Keep your eye on. I mean, they seem to have their game in gear.
Yep.
They've got the lineup. They're just playing good ball. They're playing good, solid ball, so we'll see where it gets them. In fact, I think they have the same record as Kansas City. So those 2 teams, one of those teams is going to make it. They're going to get in somehow. So we'll see where that goes. And I don't know if Seattle can weather the storm. I just don't think their lineup is solid enough.
I think in the American League, you would probably agree with me that the wild card team in the American League probably has a greater chance to go all the way to the World Series than the National.
Oh, definitely.
Because I think the Cubs are that good.
Yep.
That whoever winds up playing them is going to have.
It's going to be
tough to beat.
It's going to be. They're going to have to be outpitched, and that's going to really, really be tough.
I mean, in a 1-game series in a wild card, anything can happen.
No.
But when you get in a 7-game series against the Chicago Cubs this year, with that lineup and that pitching staff, it's going to be really tough to beat. And I don't see any team in the American League that can match up with them either.
Speaking anything can happen, I'll tell you what has happened is we are out of time for the second quarter. So we've wrapped up our synopsis of baseball, and we'll be back with the third quarter. We'll get our butts kicked by Coach Malinzuk in the locker room. We'll be back with the third quarter shots from the bench right after this.
We'll be warming up at quarterback for the Vikings. Just turn around and watch the USA.
We are back with the third quarter shots from the bench. Bob and I come bouncing out of the locker room through the tunnel with the coach behind us clapping his hands excitedly, and then we're just going to probably disappoint him when we hit down. But you know what? That be it as it may, we've got some big things going on. And let's talk about two big American institutions, and we're talking about the Open, the U.S. Open.
Second day,
and you're going to, if you're a tennis fan, every night through Labor Day, you're going to see nothing but exceptional tennis on television. It's going to be on every day whenever you put on the television. You want to see the best tennis in the world consistently. This is it. You got to watch this.
Well, on the screen right behind us,
yeah,
Venus Williams is playing her first round match. She's winning in her match.
Venus
amazing.
Williams, she's 36.
36 years
she's
old.
Seeded sixth in the
Sixth
tournament.
in the U.S.
Not
Open.
bad. Not
How's
bad.
that? How about two sisters? What's the chance? What were the mathematical chances of that being that your sister is number one in the world and you're number 6 in the world at this age?
At 34 and 36. What's amazing is in 2 years from now, they'll be 36 and 38. I won't be surprised if they still won't be top 3 seed, top 10 seed. Sure. I mean, they're that good.
Well, the story on the women's side for the U.S. Open this year, this is day 2, is Serena Williams going for the record of Grand Slam victories. She's got 22, and she's
Steffi Graf.
She's
right?
tied with Steffi Graf.
Yeah.
And of course, she failed at Wimbledon and the French. So
she's driven. I think it gets tougher and tougher as you get to be 34 to be resilient every match, especially if her problem is she doesn't get very many tough matches when she starts out, and then she'll end up getting a couple tough ones, and sometimes she doesn't respond physically to them for their next match after that. I'd like to see her get it because I think she's that much of a tennis icon. She's that good.
Yeah, every once in a while she'll lose to a Roberta Vinci or someone. But there's no way this girl has anywhere near the talent she has.
But if she has a tough match before that, you never know what's going to happen.
So it's psychological sometimes with her.
Yeah,
you can see her fighting herself during matches. She's talking to herself and slamming her racket sometimes.
You're definitely right. Yeah,
but she fights her way through it.
Yeah, like I said, in Venus, Venus is Venus. Venus is an overachiever. She's been winning a lot of more matches. 36. You know how tough it is to play tennis at 36. She's playing ladies that are half her age. Half her age. I mean, good grief.
The thing that keeps Venus in the top 10 is her shot-making ability. The thing that hurts her for not being number 1 or 2 or thing like Serena is her movement.
Well,
she doesn't move as well as Serena does. She's taller and lankier, and she's older.
She's older,
and that seems to hurt her. But to be that level, you got to be hitting some pretty good shots.
She's a great player. She just right now because you get older, she makes an occasional mistake on a couple easy shots at key times, but. And I don't know what the draw is, but it's exciting. It would also be sad as if they have to play each other in the round of 8 or something. I mean, I hate to see them have to play each other in the quarters. I mean, wouldn't it be exciting if they could both make it to the finals and play each other? Don't know if that's going to happen.
The number 2 seed on the women's side is
Angelique Kerber.
Lost in the finals to Monica Puig. Monica Puig from Puerto Rico, who I thought, keep an eye on her, right? Keep an eye on her.
She just found out what happens when you win a gold medal. Everybody wants to knock you off, and she got knocked off.
She got knocked off in the first round. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And so, and then you got,
Radwanska,
and Halep and Venus, and Roberta Vinci's number 7. And, so you got Kuznetsova, so you got some players. It's interesting. You got some floaters, unseeded players.
Anybody with a name that ends in OVA, I think is probably going to be pretty good. Or Panchlikova and Plitkova. I mean, that's amazing. Got so many good players. But
I watched Jeannie Bouchard play today. From Canada.
She's fun to watch.
She's someone to watch out for.
I just wish she can make a big. She cannot play 3 great matches in a row, and that's
right.
And the really good players
That's the difference, isn't it?
That it really is.
You can
the
go
difference.
out there and be a star and be a great player.
You can't take a match
off.
off.
7 matches to win the U.S.
You can't take a match off. You take a match off, and Eugenie Bouchard is talented. She's
Absolutely.
really good. Her and the one that's not playing so well since she beat Serena was Muguruza. I think
That's
it's
right.
the third
she's
seed.
the third seed, yeah.
But she barely won her first match. She got beat. She got creamed in the first set and then rallied to beat.
Yeah, it's really interesting how the first week a lot of these top seeds will play players and barely make it through, and they haven't found their form yet. Sure. I mean, what have they been doing all summer? Where was their form? They've been playing all summer. They say, I haven't found my form yet.
That's
it's
right.
like me and you going out and havening played tennis in 6 weeks or something.
I haven't found my form in a long time.
They haven't found their form yet. Okay.
The women's is everybody watches to either see Serena win or hope that somebody beats her. And it's not because she's a dislikable person. Some people root for the underdog, and she hasn't been an underdog, and so I'm
rooting for her to get 23.
Yeah,
if you're going to get that close, I'd like to see you
she
get
has
it.
been that dominant and that good.
Yeah.
So, I'm rooting for her to do it. Whether she does it or not is another story.
Yeah.
But
well, she wears her, like I said, she wears her feelings on her sleeve.
She does.
She's sad, she's upset. She's whatever, you can see it. She shows it,
but
and you feel it while you're watching it.
She does have 2 levels. She turns it on when she loses a set. You want to see somebody play at a higher level. She really, really turns it on.
Now,
so that'll be interesting. The men's is going to really be interesting.
Yeah, the men's side coming into the tournament after what's transpired in the summer and the Olympics as well.
Well, we got no Federer.
No
and
Federer.
You got a semi-injured Nadal who's going to gut it out and see how far he can go.
And a semi-injured Djokovic as well.
That's right. That's a good point.
He lost.
That's a good point.
In the first round of the Olympics to the story potentially
Juan Martín del Potro.
That's right.
Who 7-8 years ago was the cat's pajamas.
Yeah.
He was good.
And he's an unseated player floating around in this draw.
I'd like
to
get him in the first or second round. That's right. Just what you need.
He could go all the way. He could.
He's that good.
He won the Olympics, and when he won the Olympics, he beat Djokovic in the first round. He beat Nadal in the semis.
I think he lost in the finals of
to Murray.
Yeah. But that's so silver medal. What small achievement. No, he's that good. Del Potro, you watch him play when he's healthy, he's as good as anybody.
I would think,
good as anybody.
But what a summer Murray's had, winning Wimbledon and winning the Olympics. So this second half of the summer,
Murray doesn't have to worry about not getting the respect anymore. He's proven that he's. He actually has risen to what? He's second in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, and he wins the U.S. Open. There's a real good chance he can skirt his way up to number 1.
He could be player of the year and
that's
move
exactly
right to number
right.
1 spot.
Exactly right.
So Djokovic's number 1 seed, Murray number 2, Stan Wawrinka from Switzerland. He's very quality. I watched him play today. Very quality player.
He is one of those guys when he's like Tsonga. If they're on their game,
he's a tad better than Tsonga.
It's ridiculous to watch them win points.
Sure.
They just motor through people.
Yes,
it's
power
unbelievable.
player.
Against even the top players, Djokovic,
steady player,
Del Potro. They're the type of players they can dominate the really good players because they just smack the ball so hard.
And last year, I think it wasn't last year, Cilic. Was it Cilic won last year?
Cilic, yes.
What a surprise that was. He came out of nowhere.
Yes, he did.
To win that tournament. And so he's the number 7 seed. He may get hot again. And he always plays well here in New York.
The guy who I think is ready to make and I'm not making a prediction because I'm not good enough to make the predictions on tennis. There's a player named Raonic.
Mm-hmm. Raonic.
From
Canada.
Yeah. He is so talented.
He's on that doorstep to make the next move for a major as well.
He is right there.
He's right there.
And he's that talented, and he's still young. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens. But every time I watch him play, I think, who can beat him? And then somebody always shows me who can beat him.
Whenever you see him play, usually it's in the semis or finals during the summer.
You see him, and he's always seated in the top 4 or 5. And what is he? Is he 6th at Wimbledon? What is he?
He's number 5.
5. Yeah. So That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
So as far as the U.S. men are concerned, that's why the level of tennis interest has been down in the United States. Our top 3 men are, I think Isner is number 20.
And Isner,
John Isner.
7-6 in the 5th, he won his opener.
Yeah, he's capable. He's a capable player.
Isner's our hope, so to speak. Yeah.
And then you got Jack Sock, the young player. Now he's on the rise.
Jack Sock's a talent. Keep your eye on Jack Sock.
He's number 26 in the world.
Yeah, he's very good. He's very good.
He's winning. And Sam Querrey, of course, he upset. Who did he beat? He beat Djokovic at Wimbledon.
Yeah, Querrey's talented, but he's just not real fast. He's a kind of a big slug shot maker. But if he plays a little guy that just runs all over the place and gets him back, he has to play especially well. But like I said, the good players. How about is Monfils playing? I think
he's number 10 seed. He's really become. He's such an entertaining player to watch. He always has. He is
probably the best athlete on the tour.
That's right.
The tennis tour.
Absolutely.
What he can do is but I don't know if he is a tad of a hot dog or not. I don't know.
Well, that's funny you say that. It's always been that way. That's always been the tag on him.
Yeah.
But he's moving up in the standings because he's gotten a new coach and there's a lot more seriousness to his game. Maybe it's because he's getting older.
Well,
but,
I think you're right. I think he is finally growing up a little bit.
Instead of going for wild shots, he's more calculated with his game.
But just like I said, that as far as talking about the men that have a chance to watch, there might be somebody that comes out of the woodwork we haven't even been aware of.
Well, you got Nishikori from Japan. He's always such a steady player, number 6 in the world.
He'll be in the quarters playing somebody, so that'll be good. I'll tell you what, we've wrapped up the third quarter here. So we are finished, and we're going to get into the fourth quarter, and this is where the rubber meets the road. So we will be back to do some rants. We're going to talk a little bit Ryder Cup first because that's right on the doorstep here. That's coming right around the corner. So we'll be back with the fourth and final quarter of Shots from the Bench right after this. We are back with the fourth and final quarter of Shots from the Bench here at Gators Dockside in the beautiful Brownwood section of the Villages. Gators Dockside, we have the tastiest sports in town. And Bob, one of the things right around the corner, we've got all the excitement of college football and the NFL, but more important, or at least on the corner.
It's right there.
It's just as important, but sooner. Is the Ryder Cup.
I love it.
And you know what? Everybody, I think the Olympic golf got everybody juiced up for some international golf. Right. And now you're going to see what I think is the biggest, most fun golf tournament that they put on.
Right.
And it's just the match play. Match play is, to me, how golf should be played because you try to win the holes. And I just love it. And these guys are all capable of making 12 birdies. 12 birdies on 18 holes on the greatest courses in the world. So you're going to see unbelievable golf.
Well, really, we've got two things going on. We got the Ryder Cup and the FedEx Cup standing in the playoffs, going simultaneously.
You know what? That's right.
Playing off of each other.
I didn't even think of it. The FedEx Cup is that's what the guys on the Pro Tour are shooting for.
That's right.
That's the big money, the big prestige. And
well, these last 4 tournaments, which started this past weekend with the Barclays.
And Patrick Reed, local boy makes good.
Going in, we had 5 players pretty much cemented of the 8 that needed to qualify by points by this weekend.
They weren't going to fall out.
They weren't going to fall out. Dustin Johnson, Jordan Spieth, Phil Mickelson, and Jimmy Walker, and Brooks Koepka.
Okay.
And he was in there. He was still pretty much in there. He had enough points. 3 that qualified, of course, the winner of the Barclays. He was on the bubble. He's not in the bubble anymore.
Not in the bubble.
Not in the bubble no more.
But you want him playing for you. He's playing that well, then bring him out. That's what we need.
Also, Zach Johnson and Brent Snedeker. So those are our top 8.
Pretty solid 8. That's a nice 8 to go with.
And we have 4 captains picked. So top 4 finished. Were picked, finalized this weekend. Again, Dustin Johnson, Jordan Spieth, Phil Mickelson, Jimmy Walker, Brooks Koepka, Patrick Reed, the winner of the which he got a lot of FedEx Cup points, by the way.
Sure.
And which I'll get to in a second. Zach Johnson and Brett Seneca are your top 8. Now, there are 4 captains' picks that have to go. There were
Davis Love is the captain.
Davis Love III is the
So
captain.
he's got to. Well, he'll be he'll be watching these FedEx tourneys.
These next 3 tournaments.
He's got what the
That's right.
Deutsche Bank coming up.
Deutsche Bank
he's
is
going to be watching now
in Boston.
Yeah.
And that's this coming week. Now explaining the FedEx is going on at the same time. The top 125 players qualified for the Barclays. Now it's down to the top 100 going into Boston.
Now they're going to start paring it down. So the big money. You have to just keep making the cut. That's cut.
Right.
It's not
so
easy.
Davis Cup has 4 picks to make and 3 tournaments to go to keep an eye on players to pick from. So
plenty of time.
I believe
to
after
see
this
'em all.
first or second week, he's got 3. He's going to make his 3 choices based on this coming week and the week after. Okay.
Great.
And then the last tournament, which is you got the BMW after the Boston tournament, then
Right.
you got the Tour Championship. Now they picked their last player for the Ryder Cup. Remember several years ago, Billy Horschel won the Tour Championship.
Yeah.
Went all the way through this and wound up being the Tour champion for the season.
That's right.
Because they quadrupled the points.
That's right.
So
Sure.
in these these first tournaments, and he didn't make the Ryder Cup team because they didn't pick the hottest player they picked before the tournament.
That's right.
So now they got smart. They said, well,
Yeah.
okay, we're not going to pick that last
Well, look,
spot.
that egg on your face
We're
there.
going to see who wins that Tour Championship this
Guy
year.
wins the Player of the Year.
That's right.
Maybe should be
Right.
on the team.
Patrick Reed moved up to number 1 in the point standings for the FedEx Cup.
But that's not a surprise because he won the first
Yeah.
FedEx big,
Sure.
big qualifier.
Jason Day is number 2. Zach Johnson. What's his name? Scott.
Piercy?
No, Scott.
Oh, Adam Scott.
Adam
I'm
Scott
sorry,
is
sure.
number 4, and
Yeah.
Jordan Spieth is number 5 as we speak. But you know what? With these quadrupled points,
It's going to move all over.
anybody
the
can
place.
move up. And that's what's so cool about the picks for the U.S. is that everybody has a shot to move up so quickly and make that team.
That's right.
So that's what's going on in
and
the
they, and they
world.
love it. They're all. That's what
Absolutely.
they play for. They
and Hazelton in Minnesota, the first week of October will be the Ryder Cup.
Great golf course.
And
Great
we've
golf.
gotten spanked by Europe in the last couple of Ryder
but
Cups.
I think this is going to be, like I said, Europe's not going to back down, but we're going to have our best guys. So we'll see what
I
gives.
mean, they're going to have Rory McIlroy.
If he
and,
he
Danny
will
Willett,
make the team, but Willett will play.
Willett will play.
Poulter's hurt. I think Poulter's not going to play, and he's been a thorn in our side. But you get Keimer playing, you get Stenson playing.
Oh, Henrik Stenson.
Good grief!
Stenson's number 3 in the world or 2 in the world.
Unbelievable.
3 in the world. So they're going to be loaded as well. So
and
but
Brendan
hopefully,
Grace and
we'll bring
Shane
the cup
Lowry
back to the
they
U.S.
got-
this year.
Yeah, it's just going to be great golf. You got to
Yeah,
love it.
I
You
love
gotta
it.
love
I love match play. I love it when we play at that importance of matches.
Oh, yeah.
You know your team is down. I mean, it gets down to one match sometimes
Well, you're
to
right.
decide the whole thing.
You're right. There's
It's
no question.
really cool. I think it's cool. So that pretty much takes care of golf.
Well, that takes care of golf. But like I said, we were talking.
By the way, I just want to say real quick, Tiger Woods, vice captain of the U.S. team.
Vice
How about that?
captain.
Did you know that? Did he
Is
was
that
picked as
does
vice
that
captain?
is that what does that mean?
He's an
Is he-
assistant to Davis Love.
Okay.
Assistant. There's
I
a
think
couple of
that's I think
assistants.
that's a nice thing to do. I'm not sure that I'm not sure Tiger deserved it, but hey, I mean, what the heck? I mean, I'll tell you what. I thought the guy.
Who doesn't know Vice better than Tiger?
That's another bad.
that was an interesting. Our producer just said, "Who doesn't know
Vice better than Tiger Woods?" And that's a good point. He
I
doesn't make
have
very
to
many
give it to you
good
on that
points.
one. That was very good.
We will concede that. That was a
We
pretty
will
good
concede
point.
that.
But all in all, I'm just the guy I'm rooting for to make the team, and I don't know if he will,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
is Furyk. Because
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
he's like he's
Yeah.
like an assistant captain or something. He's 48, but he's just won a big tournament, and I think he'd be a heck of a competitor. Of course, but you got to earn it. So he's got a couple opportunities here to prove that he belongs on the team. Let's see if he makes it.
Here, like you mentioned Furyk. He's one of the ones that the possible picks for the captain. I'm sorry I didn't
Sure.
even mention that.
Sure.
Jim Furyk is definitely one. Matt
Certainly.
Kuchar is another one.
Those are excellent.
Kuchar,
Fowler, Ricky Fowler.
Ricky Fowler.
They're all. I mean, how do you go
Bubba
wrong?
Watson.
How do you go? Yeah, Bubba Watson. How do you go wrong?
And look here's some guys who have been mentioned almost every week you watch in the tournament. They always seem to be in the hunt. J.B. Holmes.
Holmes is
Scott Percy's had some good weeks.
Holmes and Percy and Kevin Chappell's a heck of a golfer.
Kevin Chappell?
I mean,
That's
there's
right.
just there's a
I've
lot
seen his
of
name pop up a lot
yeah.
during the summer.
Well, these guys are all phenomenal.
Even Bill
golfers.
Haas is not that far away that he couldn't have a great finish.
Bill
to the
Haas, I
season.
think, has played in the last 3 of them. So I mean, he knows what he's doing.
Right.
And in fact, I would be very surprised if Haas doesn't have a good round or 2 in these next couple tournaments and move him up, because he's been year in and year out just consistent. He's
Well, it's
just
fun to
excellent.
see these tournaments that there's
They matter.
something really. Oh,
They
absolutely, they matter
and the
quite
players,
a bit.
The players know they matter.
Yeah, I mean,
And so you
how
see
about
'em-
these guys that are fighting to make the cut?
Yeah, that's right.
And they're on the bubble for the Ryder Cup team or something.
That's
I mean,
cool.
I think that's interesting.
I
if
mean,
you're
you don't
a
get to see
sports
that
fan
too
that loves
often.
golf, that is.
Week in and weekend, the grind of the weekly tour. Some
Right.
guys, I'm not playing that one. Now these guys, this is where it matters. This is all the money, all the prestige. It's on the line.
That's right.
So they're going to be playing as well as they can.
Hey, you got
But-
any rants?
I think we got a lot of rants. In fact, I think it's time to go into a little rant about what we have that rant about last week, Greg. We're talking
We're not
about.
talking about that anymore.
We're talking about. I want to talk about clutch play.
Oh, not me.
Okay, I want to talk
done
about.
with
He won't talk about clutch play.
I'm
I
done.
want to. Well, Greg, what was the criteria you had? What was it? What did we talk about? This is great. Have you ever seen 2 guys kill a show better than these 2 guys? That's
No.
okay. So here's my rant. My rant
go
is I
get-
have to
you
do
gotta have one.
shows with people who don't come prepared. No, he's standing here now, so he's going to tell me something. What? Great, he has
give
a
us a
rhetorical
new,
question. Here's what
fresh
I'm
rant.
talking about. The fresh rant is, why does the guy who gets on base for the guy to hit the winning home run? Cubs beat the Pirates last night, a 2-run homer, I believe, in the 9th or in the
Right.
13th inning. The guy that hits the home run is going to be called a clutch hitter. The guy that didn't get the gun on base isn't going to be a clutch hitter. How can you not call him as big a clutch hitter?
Yeah.
You got to do it. That was my big rant. Everybody ignores the guy that gets on base, so the guy that cleans up and knocks him in gets all
That's
the glory.
right. He should be the joint clutch hitter.
All right. Well, that's what we're talking about.
I'll say this like I told you on the radio show. So you were the kid playing wiffle ball that dreamt about getting the single in the top of the ninth, so the other kid can come up and hit a 2-run homer behind you.
Oh, I didn't realize that's what constitutes a clutch player, what you dream about in a wiffle ball game. Now I get it. Now it's all clear to me. When I was
See?
playing wiffle
See?
ball, a clutch wiffle ball player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody wants to be the guy to get on base for the guy that hits the home run to win the game.
No.
I think if you're making a couple mil, I think it's really important that you do that. But and we were ranting about the pitching aspect. This is a rant that I think is legitimate. This putting the guys in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. We always talk about this. I curse Tony La Russa. Now you have to have a guy come in the 7th inning, and he can only pitch the 7th. Then you have to have a guy come in the 8th, and he can only pitch the 8th. And then you put a guy in the 9th, and God help you if he gets hit because you've got nobody else. What if a guy's pitching a great 7th? Why wouldn't you pitch him? Why wouldn't you let him in the game?
Well, sometimes the situations, it's all situational. You got a guy coming in the 7th inning.
Yeah.
And
He's the setup-
he's
the
a
setup man.
right-hander, and now you got these other right-handed or left-handed hitting. Depending on they have it all figured out sometimes, I guess, that they want a certain type of pitcher pitching against this particular couple of hitters coming up. So maybe in the 8th inning, it's depending. Lots of times those 7th inning guys.
If
go
your
pitch the
7th
7th
inning guy
8th inning.
comes in and strikes out 2 guys and gets a guy to pop up, and
Right.
it's the meat of the order, why in the world would you want to take him out of the game?
Like I said, I don't think most managers would just to take him out. I think they'll take him out to because of who's coming up.
I see Clint Hurdle do it. I see.
I'm sure
the
it
Cardinals.
happens. It
No,
happens.
what they're doing now is,
Oh, sure.
this is my 7th inning guy.
Right.
This
It
is my
happens.
8th inning guy, and here's my 9th inning
Right.
guy. And if they don't have it, we lose. And if my reliever goes into a bad slump, we're going to lose 3 games in a row. That's
Like
just,
for the Mets, you would be. I'm a Mets fan.
Yeah.
Addison Reed is their eighth
Setup. He's
inning
their
guy.
setup man.
He
Yeah.
leads the National League in holds.
we had to talk about
He
him.
leads the National League in holds.
Just those same wiffle ball kids. I just want to lead the league in holds. That's all I want.
So what does that mean? I mean, he comes in, I guess he holds the lead.
He holds the lead, and you know what? That
Didn't give up the lead. That's a good thing, I guess.
But I'm just saying he could probably pitch the 9th if he wanted to. I'll
he
tell you
gives
what,
that. He gives that closer a chance to save.
we're out of time, so I'm going to get a hold on this one.
Yeah,
and
get a
we'll be
hold.
back
Get a hold of
next
yourself.
week. Well, careful there.
Get a
we'll
hold
be
of
back next week with another.
He'll get a
edition
hold of himself,
Shots
don't worry
from the
about it.
bench for Bob Murphy and Greg Malinzuk. I'm Bob Wiltman. Thanks, folks. Thanks for watching.